Hello! He's Chris. I'm Dave. How's it going, Chris?
It's going very well. Thank you for asking. I'm very excited about the movement to embarrass Harris. That feels like really the topic one. As many people as can hashtag embarrass Harris. That's what we're looking for.
And if people don't know what he's talking about yet, because we have some fans that watch the channel and don't listen to the pod, the Embarrass Harris movement is we're trying to get to 35,000 subscribers here on the channel. And when he does, we're going to do something embarrassing for Harris. We don't know yet.
We don't actually know what yet. We're accepting ideas in the comments. If you would like to mention something that's G-rated, that's not too, one thing I've seen is people saying, well, you've talked for 5 years about the fact that you can bench press more than Christian McCaffrey. And first of all, no, I don't. I never, there was a time back at ESPN when I did, when I could do as many reps as McCaffrey did at the combine, but McCaffrey's gotten bigger since then, and I've gotten smaller. There's no gym time now, Dave. There's no gym for me. So we're probably not going to have a benching competition on the Embarrass Harris.
But ideas like that, we'll take them in the comments below to hashtag Embarrass Harris. And thank you to the new subscribers already. Last week on this video, we picked up 73 new on the Thursday show. And thank you to those who tried to help by unsubscribing or resubscribing, but the numbers don't work like that. I appreciate the sentiment. I saw it in the comments.
Didn't we say we wanted to get 20 out of that video?
Yes. So we crushed it.
Wow.
We're going to get to our DraftKings lineups for week 7. But first, Chris, I want to ask about Todd Gurley. He had a disappointing week last week. Is he still looking good? Should people be panicking and trying to trade him right now? What are we seeing from Gurley?
Yeah, you're right. It isn't a question of starting him. I mean, he's my RB10 this week. You don't like scoff at workload, and he actually is still producing a lot of weeks. He obviously didn't produce very well against the Vikings, but I've seen a lot of this on film. We're just going to show Vikings plays. The Falcons probably don't have a great offensive line. When it's not blocked up, Cousin Josh on the podcast will say it doesn't look like he's trying, which, he's trying, but he doesn't maybe fully apply himself to escape. Of course, getting blown up like this play happens to every running back, but it is fair, I think. It's a criticism that would be fair to say that if he gets met before he has a chance to get going, this version of Todd Gurley is sort of uniquely unsuited to escaping. Again, there's just not any kind of escapability. And you would say, okay, did Gurley ever have elite escapability? Probably not elite, but I think it was better than what we've shown these first few plays. Every so often, though, when they do block it up well, even last week, amid a disappointing effort, Gurley's not setting land speed records, but he's capable of pressing the hole. That's what they call it, right? Drawing the tackler in, bouncing it. It's not an elite bounce to the outside. Gurley never had elite bounce to the outside. This one, he kind of does escape. He kind of does. It's like a slow motion escape, but he breaks an arm tackle and he turns it into a positive gain. I think the key, though, is when he can get going, one more play where he presses the hole and he bounces it. It's a 2-footed bounce. He's not a fast man anymore, but it does turn into a 9-yard run. All of this might be just sort of a fancy way of saying that Todd Gurley kind of just gets what's blocked. Maybe that's all we just saw is he's getting what's blocked. And that isn't a great ringing endorsement of a player that makes me want to trade for him. But I'll say this, if a running back who's getting a pretty big workload is getting what's blocked, and we also know that, let's face it, Todd Gurley is still an elite power back. So in power back situations, he's going to usually score the touchdown. He's going to usually, if he gets his momentum going, he's going to run somebody over. To me, that doesn't mean trade away. It probably means just ride it. You drafted him to be an RB2. Lions this week, it's not a bad matchup. It's going to be a little up and down because it's going to come down to him getting space, but I don't hate the idea of just kind of hanging in there.
Yeah, it feels, watching those plays with you, it feels more like just maybe temper expectations because he's not Gurley who he used to be, but I've got rosters where I'm hanging on to Le'Veon Bell still, so you're not doing anything with Gurley.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the point. Is running backs are so scarce, but by the same token, there are some running backs getting big workloads. Like, wouldn't you say coming out of this week, Kenyon Drake is a pretty good trade away candidate? Wouldn't some people say maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the Cajun lawyer, is a decent trade away candidate coming off massive workloads? Like, if you can arbitrage your way into a better running back or an elite wide receiver, I understand why you do it. I think in Gurley's case, unless someone really wants to pay you, I would probably hang in.
Sounds good. All right, we're going to look at Week 7's DraftKings, but first I want to say congratulations to the Week 6 winner, Bobby Hare, with a whopping 234 points. It was a high-scoring DraftKings week, man.
Yeah. Yeah, Derrick Henry was sort of I had Derrick Henry, and I talked about it with Mitch on the podcast. I think a point and a half away from cashing. I'm 0 for 6 in the cashing in the Harris football contest, which is, what would we say? Hilarious? No, we wouldn't say hilarious. We'd say tragic. We would say it's tragic.
I think it depends on.
Did you cash this past week?
It depends on which one of us is saying it, whether it's hilarious or tragic. But I did not cash.
Did you cash?
I did not cash. I was watching your lineup very closely, probably more closely than you were on Sunday, because I was going, he's got Henry. He's going to do it. And then I was just like, I was watching it deflate.
Mike Davis. Thanks, Mike. I made changes from the lineup that we had put on YouTube, and yeah.
So
not maybe the greatest moment. But so we are 2 weeks into the second chunk of the season, where the winner of this 4-week chunk is going to win a one-on-one Skype session with me in this contest that we do every week. How are we doing on that?
So right now, Brothers Roman is ahead by less than a point over Bobby Hare, the winner this week.
There you go. So there's the standings, and what we're talking about here is a contest that we've been running for. This is the 6th year where we run it. DraftKings puts together a contest for $5. Everybody who wants in, you can get in as long as you get the link. We'll put the link up on the show right now. And if you get in before it fills, DraftKings takes no money from this contest. They just do it as a benefit because they like all of you. And you'll win some cash if you place in the top 250-ish or so this week, maybe something like that. And then also we are keeping standings, and the 4-week winner will get a one-on-one Skype with me. And I did that Skype last week, I mentioned, and it's really fun. I like doing those, so looking forward to the next one.
Yep. So click the link below. I've got it pinned in the comments. It's 1,100 spots, and it's single entry. So even if you don't play a ton on DraftKings, it's a lot of fun. You're not going against bots with tons of entries. It's just us friends.
That's right.
Trying to beat Chris. Keep him down.
And trying to beat me, who makes my stupid picks public every week, and everyone goes, "Ha! I'm not doing that. I'm gonna beat that idiot," and they do every week. It is not humorous. It is tragic, is what it is. All right, so let's talk quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks on down. I gotta interject. Quick, flag on the play. Chris and I recorded this afternoon, and it was before the NFL pushed the Seattle Arizona game to the night. So in this, we're gonna talk about Drake and stuff, and now they're not in DK. So I was in the midst of editing when the news changed. Just put this here. So we're going to talk about some guys that got slid out of DK. Sorry about that. This is what the year is.
Yeah, my quarterback is, you may have heard of him before. He's Patrick Mahomes. He's good, although he's not really priced as an elite player right now because he's had a couple of down weeks worked into the algorithm. The Chiefs did nothing but run on Monday night, and so the Broncos know how to play him, and I'm not saying this is a walk in the park. In fact, if I'm playing the point spread in that game, I think I'm maybe taking the Broncos. Last time I looked, I think it's 9.5 or something. I think on the road, I might take the Broncos there, but I think the way to make hay against what the Broncos are going to do is the short passing game, and then every so often be explosive. So do I really need to explain? I like Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I think the bigger part was what you said about Mahomes being 7,400 is it feels like a really kind of flat week pricing wise, or maybe that was just me, but I built multiple stacks. Right. I was excited I'm going to play these guys. Oh, I'm going to play these guys. I ended up landing on Rodgers at 7,000. So right in the same range.
Yep. He was 100% under consideration for me. I love the idea of the Rodgers Adams stack. We'll see if you did that part of the stack. I may have a Chiefs stack coming for you as well. I was also considering Stafford. I was considering Stafford against the Falcons. The Falcons have been an absolutely elite matchup for opposing passing games. And so if you wanted to stack Stafford Galladay, that'd be fine with me too.
Yeah, I like that stack a lot. I just didn't know what to do with the extra $500 if I saved it.
Just pay for a better defense, Dave, obviously.
Maybe I'd pay for an actual tight end, but we'll see. Who you got for your running backs?
I did not pay for a tight end. All right, so I have studs and duds. This is crazy that I fit all these guys into my lineup. But so I have this dude named you may have heard of named Alvin Kamara. I have this other dude named Aaron Jones. They both wound up so I have Mahomes, Kamara, and Aaron Jones. So you can tell I'm gonna not pay for some other positions, but hopefully they don't need a lot of clarification. Kamara's just maybe the number one player in fantasy right now, and Jones against the Texans. I'll tell you. I mean, we talked about the Rodgers Adams stack in a probably a high scoring game against Houston, but man, I'll take the run game, any run game. You saw Derrick Henry last week. Henry's great anyway. Like he's been great most weeks for fantasy, but that was a no-brainer of a spot going against Houston, and that's how I feel about Aaron Jones.
All right, this is going to be fun. I want to see which specifically this week between you and I who finishes top, because I built the opposite way. I went real cheap at running back.
Okay.
Drake at 4,800 just felt, his price didn't change because the Monday night game was too late for pricing to change.
That's right.
So it's not so much me chasing that production, because if you watch the game was like, oh, good, he got one at the end, but he was still kind of Drake.
Yeah.
And then I went for James White again, PPR 4,900. I just went cheap at running back, and I feel like they can get what I paid for there pretty much no matter what they do.
Well, I mean, you'll want to check in on James White. As of our recording this, we don't know for apparently it's not injury related, but he hasn't practiced yet, so you'll just want to make sure. That might require some changing around, or it might wind up being fine. But just a note about White. I also considered Kenyon Drake, absolutely, because the Monday games don't get factored into the price, and I considered James Robinson. Again, the Chargers have been nice to running backs, and Robinson probably gets a little bit of a break because he didn't perform great last week. I have Devin Singletary. He's been disappointing 2 weeks in a row. The whole Bills offense has been a disaster 2 weeks in a row. He just keeps getting met in the backfield. But who's he playing again this week? That would be the Jets. No, that would be the Jets. The Jets are a pretty good matchup for opposing players. And I got to say, David Johnson. 5,300 for David Johnson. The Packers defense is good, but not a totally unavoidable matchup, and 5,300 for somebody who's going to get you 15 to 20 touches. I considered it. All
right. Where'd you go? Wide receiver, Jib?
So I did stack Mahomes with Tyreek Hill. Hill's price has been coming down as well. I'll take that chance. You're obviously looking for a big game. If you looked at Hill's game log without looking at, what he is as a player, you'd say, wow, that guy's just sort of a mediocre wide receiver too. He just hasn't popped yet. And I'll take the chance that he does. Who else did I have?
Scary Terry.
Oh, Terry McLaurin. I had Terry McLaurin at 5,800. I had him last week as well. Worked out okay, didn't score. This is partly chasing a player that we all really like and partly chasing the matchup. Boy, there's a world where you just pick a lot of Washington players, because I don't think the Cowboy defense has stopped anybody yet, and I don't have a great sense. Antonio Gibson's probably pretty good. J.D. McKissick's probably pretty good. Like I could see, I wouldn't use the quarterback, but maybe everybody else.
And you got one more wide receiver. You had to go cheap.
Tim Patrick. I did. I went cheap. I went with Tim Patrick. You're playing for a big play, but my goodness, did Drew Lock throw the ball down the field over and over and over again last week? And Patrick got some of that, so he's cheap enough.
Yeah, 4,600. So I paid at wide receiver. I took Adams, did the stack with Rodgers. I went with Kenny Galladay because we looked at the Stafford stack as well at 6,700. And then Tyreek Hill, we matched there. 6,400 is just the cheapest he's been all year. He's not going to stay that low. It just feels like a couple weeks ago you named Mixon the must start. Like there are players that are going to pop, and I'll just keep buying in until I get that week with it. And then my flex, I put DK Metcalf in here too. So I really paid at wide receiver.
Not your flex. He's your price wise. He's not your flex.
No, but he was the last one I put in there. I had Adams, like you had a running back, and he cost the exact same as Adams, and I just went, nah, give me all the wide receivers.
I'll just, since I know on the screen you will put other wide receivers under consideration, I'll say I also, first of all, also had Galladay. I also had Adams. I considered AJ Brown. I don't know that the price has caught up to how good he is in the red zone. He just kind of seems indomitable in the red zone. And I know the price hasn't caught up to Brandon Cooks. It just flat out hasn't. I did Brandon Cooks for Flexual Healing on the podcast this week. And just there's a ton of people out there who have Cooks, maybe because I often say that you should draft him in season long. And they're like, man, now I'm comparing him to really good running backs because he just produces, these past 2 weeks he's just produced. And I don't think the price is really caught up yet.
Yeah. And I think Keenan Allen might be 6,200 in a PPR. That's pretty hard for me to not go that way. I just had a little extra cash.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you want to make sure he's healthy, but it seems like he'll be okay. They got that week off. So agreed. So my flex, you mentioned yours. I had DeAndre Swift. So I couldn't pay a lot. I couldn't pay DK Metcalf levels since I paid for every superstar. Like I was joking with Mitch that I think, do I have 4 redraft first round picks right now on my DraftKings lineup? This week I think I do. But Swift, maybe I'm paying a little bit for last week's production and for the one big run. I hope Dave, you could maybe throw up the link to Wednesday's show so that people can watch the DeAndre Swift video that we did. That run was probably the least impressive thing that he did because Jacksonville played so badly on defense, but he did a lot of impressive things. And of course, we don't know about workload, but I'll take the chance.
All right, that brings us to the mess that is tight end. Where'd you go?
Yeah. Well, obviously, I couldn't pay for any level of tight end. For the moment, I'll put Jordan Akins on here, but he still hasn't practiced, so he missed last week with a concussion. There's a chance he's still not available. I might have to do some changing around if I have to pick someone else because there's no Irv Smith for me to pick this week. I was actually thinking of if I wanted to really, really go lower, I could go to Albert O. I'll just call him Albert O because I have a very hard time with his last name. But the Broncos kid, that's if Noah Fant doesn't play. I think Noah Fant will play. You could look at Anthony Ferkser if Jonnu Smith doesn't play, but we might think that Jonnu Smith's going to play. Is Ferkser where you went?
That's where I went at 3,000.
Yeah. So there are cheap options, and all of them are totally imperfect. I'll be gladly stick with Akins if he winds up being healthy, but otherwise I might have to downgrade somewhere.
And then did you betray us at defense, or did you stay?
No, I'm not going to betray you. Jets. Jets. Jets.
Exactly. So
it doesn't matter.
But if you have a different opinion on defense, there's been some conversation in the comments. So go ahead and leave that there and leave the ideas for our hashtag Embarrass Harris.
Right. Absolutely.
Maybe that's what we have to do. If we get there, maybe I have to pay up for defense the rest of the year. I don't care.
Oh my God. That's like playing with your own money, man. That's serious. Like some dumb, like Chris has to give like a girl band guitar concert or something. Like I could do that. Having to give up your own money and spend $4,400 for Buffalo this week, or what? I think it's more than that. Like, no, thank you. That feels like a bridge too far.
Well, maybe I'll do it. Let's see how quick we get there. You guys move it. I'll keep playing this game. I'll play risky. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and go out there and win your week. Click the link below.
Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button. Write a comment. Tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on. And of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button, and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.